what's going on in the political scene, knowing that you and I, we are political beings, and we cannot maintain the culture of silence. Not now, not ever. I mean, if there was any time that we would maintain a culture of silence, that would be donkey years ago. But right now, in the 21st century, in a modern age, an age of technology, we cannot afford to maintain the culture of silence. Because should we do that, then it means that we would have sold our futures and the future of the coming generation and the coming generation after that. And it makes it a futile effort because hope will be bleak, and the change that has been promised to us by those who fought for our independence, talking about the founding fathers of Nigeria as a country, becoming a nation, would have been useless. But then this is Eagle's Outlook. My name is Uduak Daniel. Amongst other things that is making the trends, we cannot stop talking insecurity. Just recently, somewhere in Taraba State, right there, Adamawa State, we've seen from 7:30 p.m. terrorists having a field time up until the early hours, destroying schools and, of course, looting essential commodities worth millions of naira. And there's no standoff. Are the security personnel, are they tired? Are they overlabored? Do they need help? Are they crying out? Just recently I saw a video of a young soldier who said, "What I'm about to say, I know they will come for me, but I don't care anymore. I've watched my colleagues shot, sustain injury, and yet nothing is done, or little or nothing is done in taking care of them. I've seen my colleagues fall by the hands of terrorists, and there's little or no compensation for their families. I've seen worse, where we scratch to eat, to survive, and yet these terrorists are de-radicalized, rehabilitated. What then is our lot?" And indeed, even in that video, of course, we still saw that this young man has been taken. You never know. Is he going to be court-martialed now, the soldier? Or is he going to be put in a place where nobody ever gets to remember him again? But I saw comments on social media to brothers and sisters saying, we need more of this. The soldiers better start coming out to speak out. But others too have also come from the place of, if the structure under which you are is indeed favorable to you, is taking care of your needs, if you don't feel your voice is being heard, do the honorable thing. Just say, "I not do again," resign. I don't want to be a soldier no more, and all that. Why come out in public to shame the very institution that you work under? But mixed reactions, of course, will always be there, and all of them, most of the time, making some sense. But then, just recently as well, we have seen a proposed trust fund on training and retaining or retraining security personnel, procuring state-of-the-art equipment, upgrading training institutions to global standards. It will also support research and development to enhance the technical standards. And that trust fund was put before the House of Representatives. Even in the face of all of the grapplings that we are undergoing, we're still experiencing insecurity or security challenges, banditry, kidnapping, insurgency, unknown gunmen, faceless criminals, I mean, you name it, that have led to loss of lives, displacement of families, food security concerns. The House of Representatives is considering a bill to establish a Security and Intelligence Trust Fund. Now, the fund is aimed at providing alternative funding sources for security agencies, reducing dependence on annual budgetary allocations. Hence, there are thoughts that it would support research and development, enhance technical competencies of security agencies. But according to Tajuddin Abbas, Speaker of the House, the importance of security cannot be overstated, especially when we look at the fact that it's attracting investment and ensuring development. Ahmad Satomi, chairman of the Committee on National Security and Intelligence, also went on to emphasizing that kinetic operations alone cannot guarantee peace and security, and that intelligence gathering and sharing are crucial. But am I tired of hearing this talk about intelligence gathering? Maybe a part of me is. But a part of me is not. Because if there is no intelligence gathering, then how do we combat insecurity? But then some of the questions would be, what about those who bring about this intelligence to you? How secure are they? And then another angle would be, when this intelligence comes to your table, what do you make out of it? Do you throw it under the bus, or do you indeed use this intelligence to nip these criminals in the bud? Bring them to the place of atoning for their sins, the place of punishment, as according to the Constitution of Nigeria, which is supposed to be, or which is, I put it that way, which is above and beyond anybody, whether in the country or outside the country. As long as you're Nigerian, the Constitution is binding on you. So we will be talking about this proposed Nigeria Security Trust Fund. Is it a hope? Would it bring succor? Would it help the cause of the discourse? Or is it just a hype? That's the question. Is it going to go down like every other innovative ideas as to what to do about the insecurity in the country? Or is it going to stand and bridge the gap, bring about the change and the difference, so that we don't continue to see cases as we see in Benue State, where 4 ladies, students, were on their way to lectures and they just got abducted like that. Like that. 4 students, females, abducted in Benue State. For no reason. We don't know. No account. We don't understand it. But they just got abducted. Some say it's a target abduction. Others say it's a random abduction, that they just happen to be someplace at the wrong time. And I'm trying to understand, how do you mean be someplace at the wrong time? I mean, they were going for lectures. That's the right thing to do. So is there a problem now where in this part of the world you get into trouble for being in the right place at the right time? But then that's a discourse for another day. The aftermath of that is that the school is facing a shutdown, at least for a while. Then it makes me, if I was a student in that school, I'd ask myself, would I graduate without being abducted? Honestly, that's what I'd ask myself. And should I have a son or a daughter in a school like that? I still ask myself the question. Will I still see my daughter or my son before they graduate? So fear is everywhere now, and we will take it and say the way it is. Fear is everywhere. Our brother James mentioned the issue of, we turning a blind eye, pretending as if we're not seeing things that are happening. I mean, there's statistics to support these things, and these things are not things that are imagined. They're things that's happening on a daily. Abductions going on daily, kidnappings going on daily, banditry, most of which are unreported. So there is a trust fund, as that yesterday is on the floor of the House of Reps right now. And it leads me to a personal story. Well, I try to get a personal story from Nigerians, but time was a little bit short. But it is essential, though, to consider the human impact of security challenges facing Nigeria. Many Nigerians have been affected by banditry, kidnapping, and insurgency, and that has led to a sense of insecurity and fear. I mentioned about fear earlier on, right? And the establishment of a security and intelligence trust fund could potentially alleviate some of these concerns. Right. So we have a history of security challenges dating back to Boko Haram insurgency in 2009. And since then, the country has faced various security threats. Banditry, kidnapping, all of that. You can mention that. Bombings, suicide bombing. That's how we started to know these things. The establishment of a security and intelligence trust fund, is it a response to these ongoing challenges? Would it indeed bring the needed alleviation? Would it indeed stand with what the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says, that it should be an expunging or expungement, a removal, a stop, a collapse of corruption and all that is connected to it? Would it help the government to prioritize the life of a single Nigerian, knowing that it has a responsibility in protecting that life and harnessing that life and letting it have a future and a meaning and a purpose? Because many people who would have added positively to our dear country because of these menace of insecurity had their lives been cut short without actually reaching full potential. The security challenge facing Nigeria quite does have economic implications. We've seen displacement of affected families. They become IDPs or have camps here and there, scattered everywhere. Do you know what it feels like to live within a geographical space, a country, and yet losing your identity? Because you won't tell me that those who have been displaced from their ancestral homes can still boast of having an identity? They said east or west, home is the best. The way that you will flex your muscle in a visitor's home is not the same as the way you will flex in your home. In fact, in some communities outside their communities, they'd be seen as what the Igbos call Osu. aliens, the rejected ones. And there's a perception, social perception, that would be attached to them as a stigma. These ones were the ones displaced. These are IDPs. Of course, it's just what we are in the society, so please don't say UD's not everybody. I agree, it's not everybody. But yes, that's the bulk of society, that's what it is. So if we don't talk about these things now, if we don't begin to shed light in these things, where are we going as a people, as a country, as a nation? Where are we going as institutions? You are there sitting at the helm of affairs. NSA, the NSA chairman, the Nuhu Ribadu. Question will be, what are you doing? The chiefs, service chiefs, what are you doing? There's no gainsaying the fact that we are making some progress, but we need to make more progress. And if there are people within your ranks that are sabotaging the process of change, why not fish them out? Cut them off. Expose them. Ridicule them. Put them behind bars. Make your work easier. Could it also mean that there are certain interests that are beyond the Nigerian military or the security operatives in the country too? Some questions to ask. Can we possibly say that this trust fund will indeed become an anchor in solving all of these insecurity problems, or most of them? Recently, a communal clash was reported in Edo State. That communal clash resulted in, conflicting casualty figures. The residents are claiming that 22 people were killed in the clash, while the police and other sources report lower casualty figures. As expected, the clash is occurring between co-farmers and alleged produce thieves. And this is highlighting the tensions between different economic groups in the state. That communal clash in Edo State is raising concerns about the state of security and conflict resolution in Nigeria. It also is underscoring the need for an effective conflict resolution mechanism. Inclusive governance and economic development initiatives that should promote peace and stability. And so I ask, echoing your thoughts, will the proposed security trust fund assist in ending communal clashes across the states of the country, or is it just a hype again? Because at this point, the truth needs to be said. At this point, we need to hold those who are saddled with the responsibility of securing our lives and properties responsible. Call them out. Because efforts to even reach them becomes very, very, very tough. Really, I'm serious. Efforts to reach out to them, to get on here and speak, it becomes tough. Becomes bureaucratic. Bottlenecks everywhere. Oh, this process should be followed. That process should be followed. That one should be. Oh, you follow all of the process and the discourse is already swept under the carpet. I saw somebody talking the video. I think the VDM, Very Dark Mind now. One of those videos, he was saying that, look, if I'm asking you in a certain position to do the right thing, the needful, it is because you are put there to serve me. But is that really the case these days? Do we really have politicians, can we count how many politicians are put in there to serve us? Or is it the other way around, that we are at their mercy, serving and serving and serving till we pass on, and then the baton of service goes on to the child's generation, and he begins to serve and serve and serve and hope, whilst his children are being killed and slaughtered, and there's no enabling environment for survival. And then the baton is passed again. The question now we asking, which person, which generation are we going to pass that baton to again? But there are concerns about this National Security Trust Fund, and some critical concerns will be from the place of, how can Nigeria's security agencies improve their intelligence gathering and sharing capabilities to address security challenges? Because we don't want to keep hearing this as a problem no more. I mean, we've always had an issue with cohesion of agencies in this country. And we've also had issues of one agency feeling as though his job is being done by another agency. And rather than even work with that agency to see to it that a job is made easier and lighter and the burden is light, you begin to see a fracas, fighting here and there. And that, to me, my friends and my brothers and family members, is a distraction from the main issue. As B.B. Blessing would say, let's set the priorities straight. Now, this trust fund is supposed to be an alternative funding source. What then will be the potential benefits and challenges of establishing a security and intelligence trust fund as an alternative funding source for security agencies? One of the aim of this trust fund is to ensure training and retraining of military personnel, of security personnel and operatives. How can the Security and Intelligence Trust Fund be used to improve the training and retraining of, security personnel in Nigeria? And fundamentally, and this one indeed pains me personally. Why do I say so? We have research institutions in this country. We have departments in our tertiary institutions that talk about issues of insecurity, criminology. There's a course like that, criminology. Oh, you don't know. If you don't know, there is a course like that. Criminology. There are courses and professors and doctors in these courses that have had researches and searched again over and over again into the matters that concern this country. Why are these ones not contacted? Why are they not brought into the mainstream to advance the cause of research and development? So what role will these books, research that has been made, what role will they have? What role will they play in enhancing technical competency in Nigeria's security agencies? And when all is said and done, would we have the measure to boldly beat our chest and say that in all of these processes, in the disbursement of this trust fund, which is, of course, has gone through second reading, and we're hoping that it will get through the third, and that get into law, that there will be some high levels of accountability and transparency. Very important. And when we do bring the accountability and transparency, what models operandi are we deploying or employing to ensuring that the local governments are also brought up to speed, standing on their toes to serve this mandate and bring this mandate to the grassroots. Hope there's not going to be an order from above or somebody sitting on certain files and then transferring these monies and these funds under different aliases, trying to hide the identity. And yet every time they drive out in convoy with the sirens blaring and they see the people they were supposed to serve wallowing in penury. And yet they are not, or they are rather unconcerned. Because that's the order of the day now. So how do we ensure accountability and transparency, as well as employ sustainability, so that when we start making progress, there are measures to measure their processes or instruments of measuring our progress, and that there are also plans in place to ensure that these progress find sustainability, are sustained for the betterment of our dear country and our people. Now that is what the discourse is really about. Well, we have our guest who's joining us this morning, but I will open the phone lines. I mean, you've got some clarity into the discourse this morning, and I will open the phone line so that you can also join the discourse. But first of all, let us go on recess. We will be right back in a short bit. This is Eagles Morning Rises Breakfast Show's political conversation. We call it the Eagles Outlook. Don't go away.
No AC? No problem. We're cooling you down with the freshest hits.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Shin kun san cewa hanya ɗaya don samun aikin injin ku yadda ya kamata ita ce ta hanyar sayan mai inganci. Shi yasa matatar man Dangote ta tace muku man fetur zuwa RON, wato tsaftataccen mai wanda shine ingantaccen man fetur ɗin da zaka iya dogaro ko amincewa da shi a dukkanin injinan ku. Lokaci yayi da za ku kula da injinan ku, sai man Dangote mai inganci.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just
20,000 naira?
Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Right, glad to be back right here. And yes, the conversation is ongoing right there. And we are looking at the topical issue that bothers around Nigeria Security Trust Fund. Hope or hype, right? Where are we going with this? Is this going to fundamentally look into the issues of funding for the security agencies in the country, or will it be a bluff as some others have come even before it? in times past. And Nigerians keep asking the questions, when will we ever get it rightly, even though the hope is standing alive, even though the hope is standing strong, even though hope is about seeing light at the end of the tunnel. We have our guest around the studio now, and he's in the person of Mr. Martins Igwe. He is a regional first vice president, West Africa Action Network and Small Arms One South. Good morning and welcome to the Prog Show this morning.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Right. Well, it does feel good to have you in the studio, even though a little bit, time. But anyways, I can understand. I mean, this is Nigeria. The reality is unprecedented. But let's go hear from our family members who's just calling already. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Yogi.
Good morning to you, Moses. Welcome aboard. Talk to us. Yes, talk to us, Moses.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you for this topic. I think this topic is one of the challenges of this country that we cannot shy away from. And it should be tackled until our voice is finally heard. Because we can't just be silent to see innocent lives, souls, die and perish. If the issue of competition or whatsoever, trust fund or whatsoever, the issue is not, we don't pray that people should die under insecurity before money should be given to them for any compensation to the family. The issue on the ground is that, with this question I just want to ask, the illegal importation of arms to this country, who are those people behind it? Sometimes when these arms being intercepted, we only see it on the screen, and that is the end of the news. If the arms don't have legs, who are those people behind it? Which country patronize, or which of the Nigerian citizens patronize for these arms to come? And these arms coming to this country, you may not know who may be victim to these arms. So it's a case that you shouldn't take it lightly. Arms will come here, ship arms to this country, and being arrested, being intercepted, but nobody is being arrested, persecuted for the importation of arms. Then another thing is the Boko Haram. Who are their sponsors? Up to date, we cannot come out to say these are their sponsors and they are being persecuted. And the kidnappers, who are those behind it? So you have seen that in this country, there are certain things we allow you to let go, while the innocent souls are good. So if all these questions that Nigeria are still asking, people behind all those importation of illegal arms, people who are illegal, who are behind the Boko Haram, then people who are behind the kidnappers, if they can fight that, the issue of peace in this country will be restored.
All right.
And finally, that is why we find it so difficult that the external investors, they cannot come to Nigeria to invest because of the insecurity, because lives are not safe. Thank you. God bless you.
Appreciate that one from you, Moses. Moses giving us 2 cents. But you wanted to also add your voice in the discourse. 0907 353 0044 is that number. Do you think that this trust fund, should it be implemented or put out there and into law, would it indeed become a game changer, in the place of insecurity as we find in our dear country? But yes, this is probably the reason why, to address some of these challenges that Moses, family member, enumerated there, the House of Representatives is considering a bill to establish a Security and Intelligence Trust Fund. And the fund, of course, is aimed to provide alternative funding sources for security agencies, reducing dependence on annual budgetary allocations. Mr. Martins.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm always grateful to be here.
Right.
Because you discuss topical issues that concerns the masses, and specifically issues concerning security. Security, I can tell you, is almost everything. From going into education, going into even the media, security is almost everything, and it's supposed to be everybody's responsibility to see that we have a secured Nigeria.
Right.
Going by the role Nigeria also plays in West Africa and the globe. I can tell you that the move by the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence is a welcome development, because We have to be realistic. Some of these security agencies and security personnel, they are our brothers, they are our fathers, they are our sisters, and we are Nigerians. We will never and can never share away from the reality.
Right.
Because my people used to say, when you throw a stone inside the market, you don't know whom the stone is going to fall on. It can be your cousin, it can be your sister, it can be your in-law. So finding alternative sources of complementing the budgetary allocation of our security agencies is a welcome development.
Right.
But we need to sit down and throw it onto Nigerians, and I'm happy that Eagle FM has taken this responsibility. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Most of our political leaders, they don't know all. And if you meet them, you will realize the fact that they don't know all. They need the media, they need the civil society, they need all of us to come together and push a particular issue, and for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Right.
I can tell you that finding alternative funding for the security agencies to complement the existing budgetary allocations is a wonderful step by the House of Representatives. And I think going forward, they have to expand the conversation.
Okay.
The Eagle FM has gotten involved. You have a wide range of network. I think it's a priority that all Nigerians should get involved. And from there, we can now decide, these are the composition, are they going to have board, who will be the leader, how are they going to get their funding. Give instance, every time we will hear that EFCC has gotten 1 billion from a particular person or particular organization, some of this illegal gotten wealth. As an individual, I can say that immediately the money got forfeited, it should go to a security trust fund so that something useful
can come out of
it. You understand? And you see a situation whereby most of the victims of all these conflicts, 1, 2, 3 years, when you see them on the streets, they become a pitiable personality. We should also make sure that as our support for this funding, the victims that are going through hell, should be compensated so that it will serve as a motivation. When you see a son of or a daughter of a military officer or a policeman killed at the war front, in the next 1 year, no more going to school, you won't be motivated to send your children or your cousin advising them to join the army or join the police. That is why media, civil society, lawmakers come together. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And when you travel around the country, you're around outside the country, you understand that every country has its unique problems. But it is left for the progressive to come together and channel out and champion positive initiatives that will tackle some of these things. Some of these things are not rocket science.
Right.
It takes a political will, it takes a commitment. And I can tell you, whether it's political will and commitment, Nigeria has it in essence.
So we are making a step in the right direction from what you observe with this trust fund. Well, from what we understand, it's gone through second reading, and we're hoping that it will indeed pass through. But then there are very salient points and concerns that Nigerians are putting out there. But just before I bring those points, to bear, let's go take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Elder Onoja.
Good morning.
Yes.
See, me, I have this idea. The money they are spending for insecurity in Nigeria is too much because they do not follow the security expert advice. You see, we security experts will have advised the government, but they can't hear. The money they have put pumping, continue pumping, and then this insecurity continue in Nigeria. What they need in Nigeria is to form a special force. This is a special force where we are talking is not the one way controlled by army or controlled by police. We carry young men from army, young men from navy, young men from the air force and police. Carry them go to Jagi. Make agreement with one foreign country like Russia or America to train them as a special force. If the country where is going to train for a special force is going to give him the equipment where you are going to use. The problem we have in Nigeria now, whatever is some money to them. You see the network where we are using in Nigeria, where they can't track this terrorists in the bush. Anything go beyond 20 kilometers in the communication mass, you can't detect it. But the country where you train you as a special force is going to link you with their own networks anywhere where criminal there, anywhere where you went to detect you can detect it. They have MI5. That MI5
All right.
you can connect you with it.
Yes, Elder.
There's nowhere.
Elder. Yeah, you've made clear, on that. But then you're saying that you're not. Are you in support of this trust fund that is put together now? Are you in support?
You see that all what you are pumping to them.
Okay.
The type of equipment where those special forces are using is not given to any country. It's not given to any army.
Okay.
The country where it will train you.
Okay, Elder.
Hello?
We already got that part. It's for want of time, so that we can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this special force is going to be headed by president of the country.
Okay.
It's not under Nigeria this thing. And then the president of the country is going to choose retired general or retired DC from each zone to manage the special force. And then the commander of the special force will protect the civilians of the country directly.
Okay.
Directly.
Okay, Elder, for want of time. Yeah, for want of time.
Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless Nigeria. Thank
Appreciate. Right, Elder Naja right there speaking about special force. What's your thought in that?
Yes, he is. I think he's talking by experience.
Yes, is an ex. Yes, he's an ex-soldier.
If you understand his language, you understand that yes, he has been in it.
Yeah.
Just like I told you, he is making a very positive contribution towards this, and that's why I tell you that the media, civil society, former soldiers, former police should come together. The initiatives he's bringing. If you remember, during one of the former military administration, there was a special force, and they did perfectly well.
But let me come in there. I mean, it has come to our knowledge that we do have special forces.
Oh well, if we have special forces, I'm yet to. You understand? I'm yet to confirm how it's constituted, and if they have, you understand. I know that by the grace of God, as this conversation continues,
right,
we will also understand their roles, understand their challenges. You understand? Because some of these things sometimes they may be there, good initiative, but the real resources to finance for that the general Nigerians, general public, you understand, will feel their presence are not there. And that is why media, civil societies, other relevant authorities should come up and say, okay, if we have special forces, what are they doing? Where are they? What are the challenges?
Right.
We can tell you that we can move forward.
Right. Talking about moving forward right there. There are some very serious concerns, but let's just put out the numbers again, please. This time, if you do, as you do call, it's going to be restricted to 1 minute, if not less, so that we can just quickly hit the nail on its head, as it pertains to the discourse. 0907 353 0044 is that number to call. The other number 0908 766 8888. The WhatsApp portal number is 0909 705 4450. Hello and good morning.
Hello, my brother. Let me correct one thing there.
Okay.
They have a special force in Nigeria Army, but the rule of engagement.
Okay.
The rule of engagement.
Okay.
You can't allow them to operate. And then the equipment, what they're supposed to use. They don't sell that type of equipment to any army in any country. Only the country, like a one government in Russia, if they train you, they are going to give you all the equipment. There's no, even in America, those people you see in America, those Rangers, the equipment they are using, they can't give it to army in America. Especially for by Conan and then report to the president of the country directly.
All right, Elder. All right, Elder. I get that. Appreciate. Says it's about the rules of engagement, right? And that's what really makes it very special. But there are some other concerns now. Very quickly, if you can. Maybe in bits, so that we don't overshoot the time. I mean, there's a place of intelligence gathering and sharing. Nigerians are asking, in view of this trust fund. There's the bureaucracy. There's a place of it getting through the channels that would indeed have impact, on the on the grassroots, right? Where people are saying, hey, why not, begin to wake up the local governments so that they also begin to be empowered. There's also the place of training and retraining with regards, what this trust fund is about. And there are quite a number of angles. One of such would be research development. Accountability and transparency is very paramount, because it's one thing to say there is a trust fund, it's another thing to also deliver accountability. Who is the person that's going to be manning it? Who's going to be at the helm of affairs? Does the person have integrity? How much accountability or accountable is that person? Is that person transparent? Is this trust fund going to be transparent to as well? And then the place of sustainability. After all of these said and done, will they be sustained? And finally, of course, the human impact. How can the how can the security and intelligence trust fund be designed to address the human impact of security challenges in Nigeria? Just give it all of your thoughts in this one and maybe put a wrap on it.
Thank you very much. I cannot come here and tell you the total everything that the bill will achieve, because they just presented it to the general public.
Sure.
And why they presented it to the general public is, like Mr. Onoja is saying, Mr. Onoja will come in and said, I don't like here, this is why I don't like here, make it amend it to this. Issues about training is integrated in it. Media will come and said, hey, we need to get involved for proper dissemination of the activities. Civil society is going to get involved and say we need to work with the media to make sure that the impact of this trust fund reach to the grassroots. It has just been thrown to the public, and this is what is going to be. So it is now left for all Nigerians to say,
stakeholders,
yes, and general stakeholders to shape it as it will suit Nigeria. You understand the point? I have been in Nigeria in many parts of my life, and I can tell you that we have good leaders in this country, but they have not been given opportunity. You understand the point? Some of them that has been given opportunity, both in the military, both in the civilian and the administration, they have demonstrated, and the history is there. So what I'm telling you is that if we are committed to make sure that things go as it's supposed to go for the benefit of the masses, I can tell you that we can. You understand? Because one, we have the human capacity.
Right.
You understand? And it's just this is just a journey, not a destination. You understand? I will continue to move, we'll continue to learn, we'll continue to get the experience. And I can tell you that if it is transparency and governance or people to handle it, we have them. We go by antecedents. Any of the actions yesterday are history today and tomorrow. So I can tell you that we have the capacity, we have the human resources, we have the capacity to further this bill and make sure that the right people coordinate these things, whether being appointed by the president or being guided by the National Assembly, but bring the right people, give them the targets, let them know their responsibilities. And I can tell you that any complementary effort to complement the effort of the government towards sustaining peace and security in the country is always a welcome development.
All right, always a welcome development, and then we will welcome this message via the WhatsApp portal. It's coming from Terkimbi Hundu, all the way from Nasarawa State. It says, good morning, Daniel. I'm in Nasarawa State. You are still talking about another way of making money available for some bad elements in security apparatus who are feeding fat on security budget. These people should be checkmate, to ensure they do their jobs with accountability. I'm not sure if army and police others account for all these huge security monies. I insist the criminals are not more powerful than our security agents, but for reasons best known to the government, the crime are still killing our people every day. Any day there's no killing in Nigeria. Any day there's no killing in Nigeria, I will do Thanksgiving. I'll go on a Thanksgiving spree. That's what Tekenbi Hundu is saying.
I take exception about that, what she said. Not all our security agencies are bad elements. There are bad elements in most organizations, so you cannot just come out, you understand? Even him that is saying what has been his role in a community, you understand?
Right.
Which role has he played in the local community to make sure that there is no conflict? I can tell you that if you understand this thing called peace and security, it's everybody's responsibility. How many policemen do we have in the country? How many military officers do we have in the country that will checkmate close to 250 million people now? From his own, I challenge him to tell, okay, this is what you have done to secure, so that you can have that moral
justification
to say that these people are bad elements or not. People work with hearsay. You understand? Sometimes I do night travels. 1 a.m. you will see a policeman. 1 a.m. you will see a military officer making sure that there's peace. You understand? Along the expressway, even in the local community, they find themselves. I think the person that asked this question should first of all apologize to these people, because they are parents, they are brothers, in fact they are Nigerians that also have a right to protect themselves.
Right.
But they are sacrificing for their life, for him to be even sleeping, doing nothing for peace and security in the country in his place.
Right. Okay.
He should withdraw that and apologize to the Nigerian security.
All right. Now you heard that. Now what exactly are you doing in your own little way is now the discourse. And it has always been the discourse before now. I mean, about what we are doing, as persons, as individuals, in ensuring that things are done rightly. And this insecurity conversation, this should not be left only for the government. And of course, Mr. Martins has made it clear that now that the bill is out there for public glare, it behoves on stakeholders to get involved in this process. So please stop sleeping on a bicycle. This will be a call to action to do the needful and engage, so that we see that this alternative source of funding for our security, gallant security men and women, will indeed find fruition and bring to limelight, bring to bear the fact that we still have people who have us at heart and are doing their best, sometimes even at midnight, as the guest has mentioned, to ensure that the peace is maintained in the country. Well, I want to say a big thank you to you for your thoughts in the discourse this morning, though. Appreciate you, Mr. Martins, for coming here, even with the tight schedule. I know how tight it was today, but then you still made it here. You are the Regional First Vice President, West African Action Network on Small Arms. That's WANSA. Right. And to you, of course, Tekenbi Hundu, thank you. Appreciate your thoughts. I can also relate with where you're coming from, because, this security issue has been quite an issue that everybody has been talking about. Maybe you are affected by it one way or the other, and it also fuels some sorts of emotions. But then it is a collective, conversation and discourse. And of course, to Elder Anaja and every one of us that have also listened, thank you, far too kind. Right. Until we come your way again, same time, same station, having this conversation, because this conversation is an unending conversation, and we will keep talking about it until the change comes. Be sure to be security conscious, and of course, be the best of you can be. Always.